Hello there wrestling fans, I'm Adam from What Culture and I'm here to talk to you about Raw 25. Now, make no mistake about it, let's have no mistakes, 25 years is an impressive tally by any means. I mean, that's literally a life sentence in prison. It may have felt like that to some of us on more than one occasion at times. However, here we are, it's Raw 25 and you have to say the lineup, given all the names that have been announced, is absolutely fantastic and it's sure to be an absolute corker. Now that said, there's no such thing as a free lunch, and if 25 years of Raw has taught me anything, it's that if something this good is going to come at a hefty price, and sure enough, Vince McMahon will be happy to make us pay it. And with that in mind, I want to talk to you about WWE's major problem with Raw 25. Now, pleasing wrestling fans in general is never easy to begin with, and I would think it's fair to say it's never been harder than it is right now. That's what she said. But when we're presented with something like Raw 25, it's easy to get Royal Rumble syndrome, you know what I mean, where everybody is in the same place at the same time, and the creative possibilities are absolutely endless. You get so excited, all the blood in your veins gets pumping. Whew! Lovely stuff. Imagine Chris Jericho taking the list, crossing the list off the list, smashing it, turning himself into the badass alpha that we saw in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Imagine Shawn Michaels super kicking Elias off his stool after he's just butchered Sexy Boy on the guitar. Imagine Kurt Hawkins, he's frustrated, he's pissed off, he comes storming down to the ring, Raw 25, he's like, I want to end my undefeated defeated streak. He puts the offer to the back, open challenge. There's a pause, and then the unmistakable sound of Real American blasts into the arena. The fans go apeshit for the triumphant return of the immortal, slightly racist, Hulk Hogan, who storms down to the ring, boots a big boot, drops a leg drop, and Hulkamania is running wild on you, brother. But therein lies the big issue, shout out to Hobo Joe, where we dream the big dream once again, and unfortunately we set ourselves up for nothing but crippling disappointment. Now granted, I am no scientist, but in my experience, the only chemical reaction you get when you put expectation together with reality is utter heartbreak. And I'm not talking Shawn Michaels, I'm talking Ralph Wiggum, frame by frame, fucking misery. The problem we have here is that no modern era episode of Raw has had this much anticipation surrounding it. Shoehorning JR into the current commentary team hasn't exactly yielded amazing results in the past, and it's very much restricted his ability to be excellent. However, if you put JR and King back together as they're going to be, it's going to be a swift reminder as to how good we really had it, and then just when we're getting used to that, Michael Cole's going to swoop in, aka Robo Cole, and Booker T, the most confused man ever, and now it's really not. It's great. Fortunately, I can't say anything bad about Corey Graves because he is just fucking excellent in all sorts of ways. And the timing of the show itself is quite interesting. We got Raw and the Royal Rumble bookending either side of next week, so inevitably there's going to be some comparisons. Even if WWE decides to give us a good Rumble finally after all these years, 5 years of hot garbage, then it still might not be enough to overcome the star power of Raw 25, which risks the danger of painfully emphasizing how the current crop of superstars are viewed by the fans and the company alike. And if the predicted card for WrestleMania 34 is anything to go by, where we're probably going to have Triple H, Shane McMahon, John Cena and The Undertaker all on the front and center of the poster, stealing the starlight once again, then Raw 25 could be about to spell some really bad news for the new era. Let's look at this through the lens of optimism for a second. They could choose Raw 25, and that's a mighty big could, I must add, but they could choose to use that to do something progressive with the current crop of superstars. Look at Raw 1000, for example. Between Mae Young's Hand Son, Heath Slater's legendary burial, and the Brothers of Destruction's return and their sort of, well, destruction, WWE delivered nostalgia by the boatload. But despite all of that, it was one CM Punk who would leave the lasting impression from that night's episode of Raw, whose heel turn set in motion the next 6 months of pay-per-view main events. Raw 25, however, is absolutely stacked, and the card is so full of names, literally everyone who's alive and in the good graces of the company is heading to New York City. And to be fair, the more names get added, the narrower the chance of a CM Punk style moment are from happening. Celebrating nostalgia and entertainment is important, don't get me wrong. I love the Attitude Era just as much as the next person does, but favouring these and their preservation over trying to use them to shine a light on the talent of the future is detrimental to the company on a long-term scale, and it does little to help the guys who are there for the other 364 days of the year. Arguably the closest that WWE has ever come to replacing the likes of Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels was during the reality era, but even that was a reality check for the young batch of stars who were coming coming through. They had two of the best wrestlers in the world, and unfortunately WWE sidelined them in exchange for part-time nostalgia until it was absolutely too late. CM Punk ended up leaving the company as a result, and the ballad of Daniel Bryan still rings around the arenas every single week. Ultimately, it's out of our hands, unfortunately. The only person who can change that is Vincent Kennedy McMahon. The warning signs from the past are there for everyone to see, but the opportunity to do something different is also there, and all it takes is one gamble on somebody from the now, which could change the narrative forever. Nevertheless, Raw 25 promises to be a party, it promises to fill us full of nostalgia, and it promises to fan service the hell out of all of us. And yes, even cynical old me who's given it so much shade will honestly be there waiting with bated breath to see what's going to happen. While I might look happy on the outside, inside I'm going to be crying, I'm going to be screaming, hoping, waiting, wishing that they do something good and don't just absolutely butcher the new era. And that's our video on Raw 25. Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what you think might happen on the episode of Raw. I'm sure there's plenty you've got to say about that one. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and go over to whatculture.com if you want more quality content just like this. My name is Adam Nicholas. I hope you all had a lovely time watching this, and as always, have a fucking great day.